try and see if we go live here. Hold on. We're not going to Facebook, we're going to YouTube live. Facebook's having a problem.
I believe it.
Yeah, right? Ugh. It's so nice out. Are you having good weather?
Yeah, it's always good in LA.
Good.
It's sunny and smoggy as usual.
Yeah, I remember that. Okay, let's see if this will take us. Okay. There, I'm back.
Nice.
Okay, let me make sure that we're really on YouTube live.
Okay.
Okay, it looks like it's working. I'm going to hit record just in case. And now I'll say your introduction. All right. Hey folks, hi, it's Linda MarcusSmith. I have a guest here for you to get to know. I already had him on once, but that was a long time ago, you know, pre-pandemic or prehistoric, I don't know. Today we have him on, and his name is Corey Robinson, and he goes on Facebook by Corey Showtime Robinson. Let me read this intro that he's given me to read, put on my spectacles. Here's his intro. Corey Robinson is one of the most hilarious young comedy stars in the skies over Hollywood. Now a stand-up veteran, Corey has performed for the troops overseas in Asia and the Middle East, toured all over the US and Canada, and has been featured in the TV show Laughs on Fox. Corey regularly performs in clubs, casinos, and colleges up and down the West Coast, and is also an accomplished actor, writer, and live show producer. Corey's smart and observational style are critically acclaimed. Yay, so welcome him right now while he's driving from LA to San Francisco, Corey Robinson. Yay! Hi, Corey.
Hey, Linda, thanks for having me.
I couldn't wait to have you back on. I love you. You're so cool.
Oh, thanks. Need more women to feel that way.
So you're on the road. You're going to San Fran. It's a 6-hour drive. Beautiful weather. Talk to me about what's going on in your life for just a minute.
Well, right now I'm working my day job, but I'm also just busy trying to make the dream happen. Matter of fact, today I had to go to work today. Then I had an audition like right at noon, and then I jumped off of that to do this interview with you. And as I'm driving to San Francisco, so part of becoming a famous comedian is learning how to multitask.
Yes, isn't that the truth? Boy, oh boy. So your day job, let's talk about that. What is that?
I am a marketing specialist and sales support agent for a metal company. And when I tell people that, they think like Metallica. No, it's like the metal that you put on like side of buildings, sides, shipping containers, stuff like that, sheet metal. So my job is to make that fun. So I take care of their social media, all the Instagram, Twitter, Facebook stuff. I help them with their marketing campaigns, both digital and physical. I go with them to trade shows and whatnot. I'm basically everything that, like, if something's getting sold, like, without the salesman actually making the sale, it's me.
Wow, that's cool. You're the man. You're the man. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking a Sprite from McDonald's because I've tried to be healthy, but I am on the road again, so I got to eat something.
You got to. You just have to. Okay, the number one thing I want to talk about right now, and it's all about me. Just kidding. We have to talk about comedy for the troops. I'm a military veteran, and I love the fact that you've done comedy on tours in the Middle East. Please talk to us about the necessity of doing that and keeping that avenue open for military at home and abroad. Can you talk about your experience and how important that is, please, from your point of view?
Yeah, I performed with the troops a number of times. My first time I went to South Korea, and then my second tour, it was South Korea, Guam, Japan, and Abu Dhabi, and hopefully I get invited back soon if anybody's listening. It was fantastic. All our troops are super supportive, super happy to just have some entertainment, something besides the norm that they have on bases and whatnot. So it's important for us to keep their morale high so they can keep on, working for our interests abroad.
Yes. Well, I don't know if you watched what I was posting since I think it was like February. I got invited on 2 armed forces tours.
Congrats.
Thank you. And neither one happened.
Oh, that definitely does happen. That's one of the crappy things about this gig.
Yes. So when you did the comedy for the troops, Corey, did you have some of them come up to you and talk to you and say anything that you'll never forget?
Yeah, but mainly that was, hey, drink this. And then I forgot everything after that. I've only performed for the Air Force and the Army, but given those two, the Air Force really likes to drink. But as far as like saying things I can't like, I'll never forget. No, it's about this like it kind of blends together. Like I've been on like a lot of the Marines and Air Force, and it was Marine base in Abu Dhabi. I'm sorry. Like they all kind of like have the same sentiment. Like I said, they're all really happy to see us. They're all super supportive and whatnot. But I do have a few things that I'll never forget because I have them. Like I have some souvenirs that I'll treasure forever. I have a coin that I got from the Air Force, and apparently when you get a coin from the military, that's a really big deal. It's like they don't just pass those out to anybody. And I got a plaque when I performed in Japan, just as a token of my appreciation, and their appreciation, that's still hanging up on my wall.
Oh, that's so cool. It gives me chills to hear it. Thank you so much. How many tours have you been on? 2?
I've been on 2, and I've been to a total of 5 bases.
Ah, that is so cool.
And it's important for me to like work for the troops because I grew up in Seaside, California, which is right next to what used to be Fort Ord. It was a big Army base in the 90s, or not 90s, in the 1900s. And now it's pretty much the campus of Cal State Monterey Bay. But like growing up, my mom used to work on that base as a teacher, so she had military clearance, and I was lightweight raised as a military brat, even though we weren't in the military, because we were always going to like stuff on the like dealing with military stuff, learning military time, going to the PX for grocery store, like for the grocery store, all that stuff.
That is so cool. So tell us a little bit about how you grew up and got into comedy. You come from a small family, you were funny around the house, your teachers loved you, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I had a pretty small nuclear family. It was me and my mom for a while, then she got married when I was about 10 or 11, and that's when I got my stepfather and my stepsister. And like I got like extended family and whatnot, and like my uncle was like, he was in the Air Force, ironically, and he used to drive munitions, real big tough guy, but one of the quickest wits in the whole family. Like if you can make Uncle Willie laugh, you got something. And so it was always a challenge to try and make him laugh. And one day we were visiting him out in, like, he lived out in Las Vegas because he was like worked at Nellis for so long. And I remember I was like 9, 10 years old I was watching him watch a comedy special, an HBO comedy special. And of all people, now that I look back at it, it was Carlos Mencia.
Wow.
So controversial comedy figure. And he was cracking up. And I'd never seen my uncle do anything but frown or punish people. So like I was like, that's powerful. Even as a kid, I was like, I want to learn how to do that. And I started looking into it, and like I did a talent show when I was like 11 years old. And I ended up winning because one, I was pretty decent. Like looking back on it, even today, I was like, wow, that's not bad for like little kid. And but also because there was no like I was kind of in like the various artist category. Like there wasn't even like there's singers and dancers and a bunch of different categories of people, but I didn't have a category. So I ended up winning because there wasn't really anybody there. And I won it 3 times in a row. And so I was like, you know what? I think I might have some. And I've been trapped doing this work ever since.
That's so cool. So what year did you do your first open mic or class, or when you first started, you went straight to you did this contest, and then when did you go grace the stages of comedy clubs?
Probably around 14, because like after the third time after the third time I did the talent show, I helped host it, and one of the owners of a local nightclub was one of the judges, and he liked my style and asked me if I want to come in and like open the show, and I did. And that's where I got to meet people like I met George Lopez, I met Gabriel Iglesias way before he was famous, met Jimmy Fallon long before he was famous. He used to have a guitar and a troll doll, and I still don't even remember what he did with that, but that was his whole thing. And that really, like if I was interested then, I was hooked by that point.
So you saw the power of making people laugh at a very young age, and you said, that's what I want to do.
I did.
Yeah, that's very similar to what happened to me. But I waited until I was 63 to start. What age were you when you started?
11.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
I say 11 because that's when I did my first talent show, but like the first time I actually like did an open mic or actually started doing comedy was probably, I want to say like 24.
Got it.
No, actually not, because I remember doing my teenage years. I started real early.
Super. So how has it been? How you've seen a lot over the years. You've seen things change, society, all the political correctness. You've seen good times and hard times in America and abroad, and how that influences how people need and want to go to comedy or not. So what are some of the changes you've seen over all these years?
Change I've seen that's most prevalent is the internet. Like once the internet became part of our everyday lives, and not just some tool that you had in the back of the house, and maybe you let your kids get on for a few minutes a day when they had because you couldn't use the phone and stuff. Like, yeah, I'm older than the internet, ladies and gentlemen. But like I want to say like 2006, 2007, once everything became like you can get everything on your phone, that's when things really shifted. But it's the more things change, the more things stay the same. Like in the 90s and early 2000s, woke was just called politically correct. And the same deplorable people were against political correctness. Like, why are you trying to tell me what I can say, what I can't say? When really political correctness / wokeness is just being decent to human beings. I'm not saying you can't make fun of something. On the contrary, absolutely make fun of it. You just have a different rule, In fact, I get upset when comedians, regardless of their political or religious, whatever beliefs, feel like, oh, I can't say nothing no more. This is woke culture. Like, nah, man, if this was a sport, we just have a new rule. This is basketball. Now you can't carry the ball anymore. Now you can't handshake. Now you can't, post up the same way. You're gonna bitch about it, or are you just gonna change up and keep doing what you're doing? You're in this for a reason.
Exactly. Very good. So you started out and you got to host really quickly, and take us through your career. How did yours build? because you got on laughs. Oh my gosh.
You know, it's crazy. Like as a comedian, it's really hard to see the forest from the trees, and I think the ones that do best, at least for their own mental health, are the ones that only are able to only be in competition with themselves. But
Yes.
I'm not one of those people. I see the whole race. I'm working on getting my blinders on. But as far as my career is concerned, like I started, like I said, when I was a kid. I actually moved to Las Vegas when I was 17 to get away from my folks and try to like chase the comedy bug out there. And I do a joke in my act that that's the dumbest thing you can do at that age. Moving to Las Vegas when you're 17 is like being at Six Flags when you're 3 feet tall. Ironic, passing Six Flags. But so I went out there and I was having a really rough time. I was just like making my way in the world. I was 17, going on 18. But that was back when you can live pretty comfortably on next to nothing. Like in Las Vegas, in 2002, my apartment was like $400 a month.
Wow.
Yeah, I was able to make that work, but I ended up moving back home. Went to college because that was the only way my folks would help me out while I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do in life. But actually, I knew what I wanted to do in life. I wanted to be a comedian. My parents just didn't accept that. They were supportive of it, but they're like, "You got to do something to make money." And now that I'm in my like late 30s, I'm like, "You're absolutely right." I'm glad I figured that out. But so like in my early 20s, I went back home, went back to school to see a show and be. Got in some trouble, dropped out of there, went to local community college, and I got accepted up to San Jose State. And that was one of the best things that happened in my career because being in the Bay for comedy is like being a boxer in Detroit or being a runner in Kenya, or it's one of the best places for you. You know, like I worked with Sammy Obey, Kabir, Marcelo Arguello, Simon Hodge, like all these guys and girls that like went on and made something of themselves because we just had a better gym. Like we're Ali Wong. Like we were just out there, just going to open mics, doing places like the Purple Onion, doing places like the Brainwash. May both of those rest in peace. Tommy T's out in Pleasanton used to have like a Monday night open mic contest, and everybody would drive out there because you can win $150, which is more than anybody was paying. Pretty much still is paying for one night, especially for an open mic. And back then, Joey Bragg or Drew Polk, Joey Bragg's a like really funny kid. He's grown now. Jesus. He's got like he took that and went all the way to Disney Channel with it. And Drew Polk was in a wheelchair, so it's like you're always kind of going against a niche market. But if you won, you know that made it all worth it. And we all got better because, you know. And sorry, I'm still talking about my career. And because of the Bay, I was there. I went to school for 5-6 years. I was on the Van Wilder project. Really trained up there. Got a lot of contacts. Started going on the road a little bit with some of the headliners. Then when I got out of school, I graduated in 2010, which was one of the worst times to be a college graduate because we just entered a depression. Nobody was hiring. You just come out of like the subprime mortgage issue. So it was really hard to make my way at like just to get started adulting. I couldn't find anything. Like I went to school for all these years for my degree, and I'm literally working at odd jobs, working in fast food, working in a movie theater, trying to make ends meet. So I was living in San Jose. I moved back home. I was really depressed, and I figured at this point I got nothing to lose. Might as well become a full-fledged comedian. And since I was already living at home, I just made comedy my job as best I could. I was emailing, I was sending out tapes back when you had to send tapes and stuff. I was getting what work I could, and ultimately I was able to get make enough contacts to where I was able to get on Laughs on Fox. I was able to get to go perform for the troops, and I actually got to where it made sense to move down here to LA. And I've been here in 8 years, I've been auditioning, I've been writing, I've been producing, I've been BAing, I've done a lot of different things. I've also been very, 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 very close to homeless several times. So no matter what you do in this business, always be prepared to sleep in your car.
Wow. I love that. The passion, the commitment. The things that I have heard doing these interviews that comedians have tolerated just to make people laugh is mind-boggling.
Yeah, like people tend to take kindness for weakness, and people tend to take the ability to make people laugh as kindness. And it is in a sense, but like the hardest thing about being a comedian is the pay. The job is great. We get to laugh for a living. We get to make people laugh for a living. I saw a newspaper article that said that most people only laugh a few times per week. And I was like, I don't even know how to survive like that. We laugh more than that in this interview. So I don't know how people are able to do that. So the sociological and benefits to your psyche are great, but there are so many different detriments that come from the fact that nobody wants to pay you for this. Everybody undervalues you, and for whatever reason, everybody just thinks they can up and do this. I've had so many people come up to me after the show and be like, "Oh, everybody in my office says I should do comedy." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, where do you work?" "Oh, it's the Johnson and Johnson such and such." I'm like, "Oh, what's that?" "It's an accounting firm." I'm like, "You make good money?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Stick to that, because you don't want this life."
Exactly. Yeah, the only reason that I can get up and go places and do comedy is because I have a pension coming in. It's not bringing in the money. I'm not even at your level. I'm just somewhat out of mics and into shows at this point, There'd be no way I could afford it if I didn't have a pension coming in.
Yeah. I'm about to go through the mountains, so if I lose you, I'm not being rude. It's LA being rude.
Just in case, tell people where you're going to be performing and where to follow you, just in case.
I'm at Cobb's all weekend with the very funny Jay Chandra Star, hard to say his name, from Super Troopers. And June 1st, I'm going to be producing my own show in downtown LA at Elevate Lounge at 8 p.m. with the very funny Mateen Stewart closing it out. And you can follow me at RobinsonComedyServices.com or Corey Showtime on all things social.
Fabulous. I'm coming to LA on May 27th, 8th, and 9th, and I hope to catch and watch you when I come. I think we lost you, so I'm going to go ahead and let you go. And thank you. No. What?
I said I'm still here if you can hear me.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I'm going to be in LA May 27th, 8th, and 9th, and I hope to find out where you're performing in LA to watch you.
Sounds good. I don't on those days, but we can make something happen.
Sounds great. Is there anything you want to talk about while we still have a connection?
Be better to everybody. And pay comics. As far as the writer's strike is going, I'd like to be a writer one day, but I totally understand where they're coming from, because writing is a great gig in Hollywood normally. Back when you wrote for television, you got paid your writing fee, and then you got royalties for all the episodes rerunning. And since everything has shifted to streaming, that deal, like all the same money that's in Hollywood is still there, but now it's just being redistributed back up to the top. So the CEOs of the streaming companies and the executives and whatnot, they're getting their bonuses, and the writers are getting literal fractions of what they used to on their residuals and whatnot. I think I saw somebody post one of their residual checks that used to be like, they used to get like X amount of dollars, and now it's literally like 7 cents. And it's the same show that they've already been writing on. It just went from television to streaming. And granted, like when things change, yeah, you have to renegotiate, and like things change. But the fact that the powers that be knew this was coming and still held it from and let this get this far is why the writers are on strike. So if your favorite show suffers, hey, that's part of the game. But
Exactly.
but long story short, pay entertainers, pay artists, pay musicians, because we're not just doing this because we love it. We're doing it because it's what we're supposed to do. And just like if you find your calling, you want to make money at it. So do we. And it's not that we're
That's
doing
right.
it for the money, but we need it. So because you can't breathe without it.
I know. What is something you want to accomplish in the world before you get old and pass away? What do
I
you
want to
have?
make something memorable. I want to make something to be that will live on past me. I don't know if I'm ever gonna have kids. I'm 39. Like I had a long relationship, didn't work out, didn't have any kids. Don't know if that's gonna be in the cards for me. So I'd like at least like my work to live on past me. So hopefully I write something really good, or I put out a really good joke, or I put out a great comedy special, or I end up being a good actor or something where that name still has meaning long after I'm gone.
Absolutely. I'll be praying that happens for you.
Me too.
Yeah. And another long-term relationship and some kids.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
Or maybe not. I don't know. It depends on the situation. I've seen a lot of guys where that was what killed them, but like you never know. It's not like I like kids, so we'll see.
Yes. Well, you've got the best personality, and I can't wait to see you live performing in LA. I hope I'm free the night of the 27th. So if you come up with something that you're doing and performing, I want to be in the audience watching you.
Okay, we'll make that work. And if
All right.
you gotta find some friends that are gonna be in town on the 1st and send them over to my show.
I will do that.
All right, that sounds like a plan.
Yes, well, keep grinding, and I just anybody that gets to see you is lucky because you're just a gem of a guy. You have been since we've been on Facebook together. So anytime you want to come and plug anything else you're doing, let me know, Corey.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Linda. You're the best.
Thanks, Corey. Bye.